Welcome to Real Inside Sales Talk, episode 23 with Mark and Jason. Find us online at facebook.com/ISA Talk. Find us online at www.realinsidesalestalk.com. This is Mark and Jason. Jason, how you doing tonight, buddy?
I'm doing wonderful, my friend. I'm doing wonderful. How are you?
Man, I'm pumped up. Episode 23.
I know, it's been 23. Well, in this episode, let's recap some things that we talked about in our earlier episodes.
Oh, yeah. How to be successful, how to suck.
Yeah, we've had some great conversations. Disc profiles we've talked about.
Yeah. Problems people face, procedure people. We've talked about the 11 contacts in 5 days, how you should follow up. Again, that's 11 contacts in 5 days. You want to do a phone call, an email, and a text message the first day, phone call and text message second day, phone call, text, email third day, phone call, email fourth day, and then it just goes on and on and on. Just look for our coaching on that. And then on top of that, establishing your standard operating procedures. Mm-hmm. Without your standard operating procedures, you've got a barnyard of salespeople running around, and half of them are nuts, and you've just got to control the chaos and earn your respect. When the farmers come, what do the chickens expect? Time to line up.
Food, usually. And there's a pecking order. There really is.
Well, and not just in the farm, but in the sales industry as well. If you're a good salesman, you're going to be pecked to be number one team leader.
Yes, you will be.
If you are the worst, you're pecked to be number one fired.
Exactly, you are. And that's the thing, Mark, is you make a good point about getting people fired up, getting people focused.
I took BOLD.
Yeah.
Keller Williams training. And that's what they would make you do every morning is they'd make you point at the person across from you and go, "You're a great salesperson.
Yeah.
You're a great salesperson. You're a great salesperson." And then you'd have to point at yourself and go, "I'm a great salesperson. I'm a great salesperson. I'm a great salesperson." I still do it.
Well, yeah, you have to. It's great. It's a great mindset shifting exercise to go.
Clap it up, baby.
Yeah.
Woo!
Bold definitely.
Overly annoying.
Yeah.
But there's some good lessons to be in there.
BOLD is a good tool. It's amazing.
One of the other things that we talked about is having a conversation with a 90-year-old self. If you listen back to our earliest episodes, and I'm hoping Jason remembers, one of the things that I definitely
do
emphasized,
I remember?
Yeah, I know you do. I'm just bullshitting you there, Jason. But we talked about, let's say you are 31 years old. And you walk by yourself on a park bench, and that person on a park bench is a 90-year-old you.
Right.
What does that conversation look like, and what does it entail? Just close your eyes and your mind for 15 minutes and role play that conversation.
Right.
You're talking with yourself. You're 90. You're 32, 31. What's that conversation look like?
Well, they did that, and then you also write a letter to yourself like a year from now.
Yeah, and I did. And in fact, I forgot I even did it. And then I got my letter in the mail, and then I looked at it. And guess how many of the goals I accomplished?
Yeah, how much did you accomplish?
1 out of 5.
Really? Yeah.
But I was happy I did it because that goal takes a while to achieve. It was not an easy goal.
Well, you did. You accomplished it a lot in your second year, though, right?
Shit. I accomplished goal 2, 3, and 4 on top of it. Now goal number 5, it's going to take just as long to get goal number 1, 2, 3, and 4 done. Basically, it's going to take number 5 just as long to get. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, yeah. Well, and goals take time, but at least you have them. You have goals. Goals are important. If you don't have goals, how are you going to know what to do each day?
And time management. Having a calendar. Is a calendar on paper good, or is a calendar digital good? It depends on the business.
Right. Nobody knows what to do with themselves each day. They just go along to get along and just expect somebody to come up and say, "Hey, here's this $80,000 a year job, no skill required."
That's where experience comes in. That's where experience comes in. There always needs to be a captain of the ship. The captain is the most experienced one. He's seen the most stuff, right?
Right.
He's not just the most well liked. If you go out on a boat, you want to make sure your captain's not going to get you killed, not just like the guy.
Right.
And watch, what's that show? What's that show with the crabs?
Love Boat?
Dangerous Catch.
Oh, Deadliest Catch.
Deadliest Catch. Yeah, that's where I learned it from.
Yeah. Well, and you got to be on that kind of environment. Yeah. Anybody even slightly gets out of line, and you've got to have your foot ready to insert up their ass because it's life or death, dude.
Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, it's life or death. I mean, no disrespect to what we do as salespeople, but you can learn a lot from an experience just like that because of the fact that there's so much accountability. You know, and the accountability is serious, man. I mean, you do something wrong, you do a misstep, you don't tie, a knot properly, you don't watch the line or the cord, or get out of the way of the cage, the crab trap or whatever it is.
So long.
Yes, bye. You are gone, man. And the captain has to keep an eye on everything and get you home safe.
That and pay attention to the weather.
Plus, they have to catch all that crab. So I couldn't see myself doing that, but I do see myself doing other things. And so what I try to do is, this is better. Right now I've got a job that's better than, digging ditches or something like that. I've got something that I want to do and that I love to do. And that's where when we had talked about, setting goals for yourself in our earlier episode, that's exactly what you want to be able to do each day is have yourself a calendar, have yourself a plan of action. As we referenced in just our previous episode, are you working for a profit or are you working for wages? If you're going out there to make a profit every day, control your expenses, know what your expenses are. Even if you're working at a regular job and you haven't got, the side hustle completely, working for you yet, you still got expenses. So spend less than you make. That's how you get wealthy and make money. And yes, it is a challenge at times, especially in these harsh economic times.
Stick to your guts and stay focused.
Yes. And I mean, that's the thing is you've got to be able to, live frugally, practically, stewardship, not consumption. That's the thing is get out of the consumptive mode.
Yeah.
Don't
build a balance.
Yes. Work for something. You just mentioned that earlier is work towards something. You're trying to build something here. So what are you trying to build? If you're trying to build a great team, are you trying to build a great business?
Brand loyalty.
Yeah, brand loyalty. That's the thing is whatever you're building, have a plan of action.
Client relationships.
There you go.
You got to create comfort. You've got to be able to unite people. You got to have referrals. And that's why people buy repeat products because they have a positive experience the first time. If you're just doing everything that everyone else is doing, you're really not doing anything at all.
Backing them up. So what we're talking about is we're recapping tonight for you folks out there all our listeners out there. We want to give a shout out now real quickly to just everybody that's been downloading and listening to the show. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
We'd love to have some feedback, some questions. You can email us at
leave a comment.
Yes, realinsidesalestalk@gmail.com. Send us an email.
Facebook.com/ISA Talk. That's Facebook.com/ISA Talk.
Yes, Facebook.com/ISA.
We want to hear from you. Come on.
Yeah. Well, here's the thing, Mark. And episode 7, we talked about how you have to utilize how morning rituals are important to us. And going through a morning ritual program where you get up and you're doing something consistent every morning. All the greats do it. Everybody has, you get up and you stretch or you get up and you hit the shower first thing, or you get up and, you go feed the dog and fix some breakfast and coffee, and then you sit down and take a look at your day or whatever. You start having those rituals in the morning, read something, meditation, whatever it is, getting yourself together and waking up, to get started for the day and preparing for the day is absolutely important.
Yeah, don't wake up just an hour before work. Wake up about 3 hours before work if you can. 2 hours before you go to work if all possible. Hour for preparation and getting ready. Hour for just you time. If the you time is just going and getting some food and just taking your time to work, nothing's better than not speeding your work.
Right. You're exactly right. You've got to allow yourself time to show up on time. Because when you start running late...
But don't get too early to where you're like waiting to work.
Right.
Pick and choose.
Well, you've got to have that time you show up that you're a routine. You have a routine.
Is traffic going to be horrible? Is school in session? Mm-hmm. And all these buses are going by, so I probably
have to drop my kids off.
Got to drop the kids off. Got to drop maybe their friends off too.
So that's the essence of having a routine and stick to the routine. Mm-hmm. Because if you don't stick to the routine, you don't have a routine. If you don't create the routine, you're not going to get in good habits and the good mind frame that you need to get every day to be successful.
Yeah. And again, this is episode 23 on Real Inside Sales Talk with Mark and Jason. Well, yeah, you can pay for the leads, but if you can't convert them, or if the market changes, then those leads aren't going to be worth anything.
Well,
Or if you're not even going to follow up with them.
right. Well, that's one thing, aside, just kind of digression here with Zillow. What's going to happen with Zillow and all these deals they've made with agents when the market tanks?
Oh my gosh! There's already deals going on. Zillow will hire a real estate agent and do a discounted buy or sell, presentation.
Well,
and Zillow has the instant offers now.
Right.
They have their own mortgage company too.
right.
So you can literally click on a house, put an offer in, but before that offer goes through, you've got to type in a few things just to get pre-approved.
Mhm.
Boom,
Right.
done.
Well, they've definitely leveraged some laws and regulatory things because they're skirting a line of being an actual brokerage.
They are.
I mean, I know,
In a way.
but then that's how they run around those brokerage laws. I
In
mean,
a way,
they basically just came in there in the middle. And here's why: every real estate agent out there, get rid of Zillow, man. I mean, cut the
Don't let Zillow
It's-
advertise your lead. Your listings, your leads. Yeah.
I mean, I know they're the big platform out there, and they are where a lot of users are.
and this is no offense to people who work for Zillow, but
No,
this
no.
is just from a real estate standpoint.
This is from a business standpoint. If your business model is based around one source of lead generation, what's going to happen when other factors that have nothing to do with your business at hand change that model? Because let's say that Zillow gets sued by the government, or let's say that again the market tanks, or let's say for the fact that Zillow changes their policies now, where they're the ones that are acting as the broker. And you're dependent on them for your deals to get done. And it'll change all aspects of your business. So that's why you as a realtor, especially since you're a realtor, the local area, the local market, leverage your knowledge, Mark, of your area
Know your surroundings.
into social media, websites, videos, what have you. I mean,
Create emotional value. Yeah, create emotional value. Find a reason for someone to like you and think that you're worth the 6 or 7, sometimes 8%, depending on what you're selling or buying. So, again, welcome back to Real Inside Sales Talk with Mark and Jason. It's been an interesting shift in the weather. We've had a solar storm today.
it's fall.
The weather's cooled down quite a bit.
Mm-hmm.
We're going into the fourth quarter, which
Yep.
fourth quarter in the
It's already
Southwest.
started, yeah.
Yeah, fourth quarter Southwest Missouri last year was booming. This year, I feel like it's kind of slowing down just a tad.
Really?
But, I'm going to fight through it just like it's quarter one.
Really, there's a lot of demand out there for just jobs. I mean, that's the thing is from what I see in
Good jobs.
in the market, the secondary market, in some places is kind of steady right now. If it's flat or anything, I know the secondary markets secondary home markets flat. Secondary markets, the lagging markets out there, they're not growing nearly as fast, but they're going to grow just for the fact that they are secondary markets. Housing prices in your major markets have gotten so out of control that people are relocating to these secondary markets now. And they're not doing it in droves. It's not like it was in the 90s when you saw like the California rush of people out here to where you and I live, Mark. You're just seeing it in trickles here and there. And our state, kind of like Texas, we're kind of in the middle of the road as far as we're not like over super company friendly, and we're not, like anti-worker or anything like that, or anti-self-employed. We're kind of in the middle there. Pretty good for business in some areas. That's the thing that kind of aggravated me about the governor getting rousted out, because he was like so good for business. He was cutting taxes and everything like that, and that's what brings companies here. That gets, like being self-employed. We're kind of penalized as being self-employed. If they remove that, man, just think how many more businesses would be out there for people.
It's hard. My gosh, everyone who runs a small business, it is very difficult,
Mm-hmm. Because what you've got to do is you've got to plan. I mean, here's the thing, Mark. One thing I want to talk about tonight is just preparation in general.
Yeah.
Okay. And preparation comes from knowing your customer, knowing your client, knowing your business, being able to see down the road, being able to know that, okay, here are my goals. Here's what I want to accomplish. Here's my plan. Also, when that client comes in the door, how are you going to get to know them very quickly in such a way that they're going to want to buy something from you? And so what you're going to want to be able to do is connect with them in a way that you find out what they're interested, what they're passionate about. You go over, their family, what they do for work, what they like to do for fun, what they would really love to do in life sometime, and then find out, when you find out what they really want to do in life, you'll probably find out their hobby. And so you can connect with that. So you take when you're trying to explain them a real estate deal, for example, and let's say they like MMA fighting, and you say, look, or they like to scrapbook. Okay, so what you want to do is before you like have that finished product where you're in the ring fighting, or you have that scrapbook that you finished, there's a lot of preparation that goes into place. One, you have to know exactly what your vision of accomplishing it is, which means if you want to buy a house for $150,000, how are you going to pay for that? So that's the first thing. So that's the first thing you want to ask them, is like translate what they like to do. So in scrapbooking, you don't just go into the scrapbooking store and just start throwing stuff together. You have a vision in your head of what you want, that you're going to have to get some supplies for that, that you're going to have to pay for those supplies. And then you're going to have to actually sit down time to cut out, the pictures and all the little graphics and everything, and then paste them into the book before you actually have that finished product. It's just like with a home. You've got when you're talking to that potential client, you've got to ask them 100 different questions about what they like in a house. So that way you can tell them, look, this is us preparing right now. This is us practicing right now. Because I need to know what you need in a house. That way I can get you that way you don't have to look at 25 houses. We'll look at 3 to 5 houses, and one of those 3 to 5 houses is going to be the house that you want to buy. It's that simple.
Knowing your product and creating the expectation. Mm-hmm. This is why you're paying me, so I can give you service. And, that goes back to like starting any type of business, small business, big business, anything. You have to have a focus. You have to have, a map. If you don't have a map and a strategy, you will fail.
Right. And that's why you've got to let that customer know when you're sitting there preparing them. It's like, look, here's what we have to do to make sure that we get you into, the home that you're wanting, or we make sure that, we lock in this mortgage, that we make sure that we, get you into this car. I mean, you make sure that, okay, you're wanting to buy this, appliance, and this appliance is the perfect one for you. I know that, okay, you've got to find out what their desires are, what they're passionate about, what they really are interested in.
Why is it important to them?
Why is it
what is your motivation and destination?
Right.
Or like I tell a lot of my coaching clients, what is their pain and how can we overcome it?
Right. Well, what's their apprehension? That's why you've got to get to know them, because their pain at first is they don't know you, and then they're uncertain about the process. Mm-hmm. So they're uncertain about the process.
Yeah, and like
because they don't want to pay X number of dollars, whatever.
Going back to preparation, you talk about memorizing your scripts mm-hmm. and like brushing your teeth in the morning, mm-hmm. showering, shaving, putting on deodorant, blah, blah, blah.
Right.
You can look good and you can know your scripts, but if you don't know how to break the ice,
right,
it can be weird.
Right.
So, have role-playing sessions.
Mm-hmm.
Try talking to just random people.
Right.
That's the best way to get it out of your system.
Well,
you'll be scared, but once you talk to 10, 15 people, you're going to be like, okay, I'm going to make a game of this.
Yeah.
I'm going to talk to 100 people and see what I can find out.
And start with just use the who, what, when, and why. Hey, well, that's where you go in there. If you're at if you're out just shopping and everything, and you're looking at an item that you both kind of have an interest in, you could just say I'm interested in these two. Why are you interested? I like to use this product because it lets me do this. Do you do the same thing?
How they're thinking, what's in it for me? Right. I'm either being sold right now and this is annoying, or oh yeah, that's pretty cool. I should probably invest in that.
Right.
Or I will invest in that possibly down the future.
Yeah. How long have you been interested in buffalo canoes? How long have you used buffalo canoes? How long have you been interested in scrapbooking? How long have you been interested in old cars? Really? Well, what do you do with them?
Wow. Tell me more about that.
And that's just that. Well, oh, really? Where do you then where do you do this particular thing?
And you know what the key to that is?
Mm-hmm.
Everyone likes a person that will listen.
Exactly.
Because no one ever gets to talk about themselves.
No. So you start with those.
Your client is the most interesting person in the world.
Mm-hmm.
Your client is the most interesting person in the world. Excuse me.
Right. Yeah. And editor's note here: if you happen to hear children wailing in the background noise, we're in a suburban neighborhood out here, and it's still late. Still before curfew, so you might hear a kid or two, yelling at another kid. So ignore that, folks. We'll try to take it out in editing. But that's the thing is what you want to be able to do is get to know them on that personal level and ask, and starting with who, what, when, and where, and why, will get you that way. You know, if you're trying to generate leads, you know, say, you know, what brings you to the, you know, this part of the country? You know, what brings you to the area? You know, I love Hondas. You know, how long have you had yours?
Or I can't. Or my favorite color is green, and because your vehicle's green, I love it.
Yeah, exactly. What I've seen, like, I try to point out, like, bumper stickers. You know, you see people with a bumper sticker, even if you kind of, even if I see like a person that has like a vote bumper sticker on it. I mean, I'm not the voting type.
Way to be patriotic, buddy.
Yeah, exactly.
You're not picking sides. You're saying way to be patriotic.
That's right. November 6th coming up. You know, which, you know, you can always tell the color if they're Republican or Democrat. It's either gonna be blue or red or whatever. But even taking that, you know, I'm like, I could care less about politics, so it's easier for me to talk to people about politics. So,
I'm so glad this Kavanaugh stuff is over with.
Well, and that's where I can go up to a person who's conservative, and they can tell me all their crap and everything, and I can talk to them, and it doesn't bother me. And I can go to the Democrat and do the same thing. You know, I might be, personally, okay, what you're saying is, you know, absolutely, you know, moronic and misunderstands the system totally, but, you know, I will feed into you just because I want to get to know you, because you might one day be interested in this product of mine. And here's what I've got to offer, you know, is I've got a solution to your problem, because after I get to talk to you about, you know, whoever you know, want to vote for or don't want to vote for, I can say, oh, by the way, you know, I'm a coach, and I help people achieve their dreams, and I help people achieve their goals. And do you know anybody that might be interested in that? Might be having a hard time either in their job or their personal life? You know, and if you do, here's my card. Or better yet, if you know somebody, give me their number, and I'll be happy to tell them, you know, you referred me. You know, and by the way, if you refer me, you know, here's $50. I mean, you take it in a way and turn things on their head.
You become a chameleon. You need to know how to blend in with every situation, and then advance. You know, tread lightly. You know,
sure.
And you also have to know when to turn down a sale too, because there's some people that are going to want to put you in certain situations or make you do certain things to get their trust. And you have the person have to have the morals to be like, okay, I'm not going that far.
Well, exactly. There's some people who can do it, some people who can't. Here's the thing that I want to get to about preparation is what and this goes back to the who, what, when, and why, because that's what's going to find out. You're going to find out what they're passionate about, what they like to do. Take what they like to do and what they're passionate about, and use it as leverage in your sale. Use it as leverage in your pitch, because then that way you will know exactly what motivates them. They will then be able to understand the complicated, confusing process of the loan, or the complicated, confusing process of buying a house, or the complicated, confusing process of buying a Whirlpool, you know, washer.
Or just saying, I know it's complicated. I don't expect you to understand how it works, but I'll get the job done, and it's going to be easy. Just do this for me, okay?
Yeah.
Because, like, I know when I went to go buy my first house, they're, like, talking to me about all sorts of stuff. I'm like, whatever, I've got to do it, so let's just start signing.
Or they're just so emotionally hysteric about the thought of getting into a house, they don't understand the actual implications of it. So that's where you got to wheel back the emotion of them, implement the logic, let them know, okay, look, this isn't like necessarily going down to buy a loaf of bread, you know, or buying a car, or buying anything else. This is a home. You're going to be living here for the next 5, 10, 15, 20 years. So it's going to matter which side of the house the sun rises. It's going to matter, you know, whether it's an open space or a closed space. It's going to matter whether you've got to put work into it or not. It's going to matter whether over 10 years you're going to have to put in a new roof, new foundation, or something like that. You know, a lot of things like that. Thank you for listening to Real Inside Sales Talk with Mark and Jason. Find us online at realinsidesalestalk.com. Find us on Facebook at facebook.com/ISA Talk. Check us out, like and share and review us on iTunes, Stitcher, Google Play, and all your favorite podcaster apps. Thank you again.